Hey people, welcome to the Run Testers and to our review of the new Polar Loop. This is a screenless activity, workout, sleep and recovery tracker from Polar. It's kind of looking to go head to head with the likes of Whoop, only with one major difference. Unlike Whoop's kind of pretty pricey trackers that have a subscription, this wearable is subscription free. You buy it and then you can use it without paying extras. But is it any good? Well, I've been living with the Polar Loop for a month now and you can watch on to get my verdict. So let's take a closer look at the Loop, which combines Polar's heart rate sensing technology with activity, automatic workout detection, sleep and recovery tools into one subscription-free screenless tracker, like I said, that's out there to rival Whoop. The idea here is basically like a simple distraction-free way to unlock the daily insights to help you sleep better, bounce back faster from your workouts, stay active, stay generally healthy. It consists of a fabric band with 6 colours to choose from. There is a small sensor unit on the top here that houses Polar's Gen 3.5 Precision Prime optical heart rate sensor. There's also an accelerometer inside which tracks your movement. That's how they do the automatic workout tracking. The whole package weighs in at just 29 grams. What it doesn't have is a screen or built-in GPS. When it comes to battery life, Polar says this is going to track you for up to 8 days. It's water rated to 30 meters, so that is shower, swim, sweat and rain proof. On price, it's going to set you back $149.50 in the UK, $199 in the US. And as I said, there's no extra subscriptions once you've paid that fee. You can just access the features ongoing. And then in terms of tracking and features, if you're familiar with Polar, you're basically going to get quite a lot of the same tools that you'll find on Polar's regular running watches. There aren't any new features that are sort of designed specifically for this piece of hardware. So at the basic levels, it's going to cover everything from activity, training, workout, sleep and recovery. For daily activity, that includes the usual suspects like steps, distance covered, calories, active time. There are daily activity targets and inactivity alerts that will come through on your phone, plus 24/7 heart rate tracking. When you get moving with intent and start to fire up those workouts, there is manual and automatic workout tracking. You can track workouts with your phone and the Polar Flow app to add things like distance and map. You kind of piggyback the GPS on your phone. You can also monitor training load with Training Load Pro. When you go to sleep, the tracking includes sleep stages, you get a sleep score, you get recommended bedtimes, overnight heart rate variability, you get an autonomic nervous system tracking that kind of feeds into Polar's nightly recharge recovery estimates as well to see how well you've bounced back from all of that activity and training that you've done. These are all things that you will find so as you move up the scale onto kind of Polar's running watches. They've all just been put into a slightly neater, easier to wear, kind of less intrusive package in the Polar Loop. So on to the run test then, and when it comes to the design, I think this is a pretty neat looking tracker. It's kind of simple, it's subtle, it's got a decent choice of colours and straps. The comfort was good, it's easy to get the Velcro strap locked in for good fit. It's nice and light. I think the straps are well made as well, and I found it generally easy to wear 24/7. It's going to be easier than many GPS watches that you might wear. It's also easy to get a good fit with that kind of dialed in with that Velcro fastening, and it just feels fairly well built. So design I think is a thumbs up. On battery life, I've got around 8 days general usage, so that does match Polar's claimed staying power. And then for me, I had the overnight burn at around 2 to 5%. It's a bit lower than you're going to find on the Whoop 5.0, but charging the Polar Loop once a week is okay for me. When it comes to getting into the data, the app isn't as finessed, I think, or as comprehensive as Whoop. Whoop does feel more evolved, and you can get a sense that in its current format, it's a bit of an add-on to kind of Polar's existing Flow app, which, you know, it's just not as well presented as Whoop. It's maybe not as modern looking. Polar will be redesigning the software though, and from what we've seen of that, there are going to be some big improvements to how your data is presented, accessing kind of some of the more important stuff, making it easier to get to that over the coming months. That's going to change, but for now it does lack some of the focus, and some of the charts I find aren't as easy to interpret as they might be. So all of the information is there, it's just hard to extract it at the moment. You have to sort of dig for some key metrics. So I think Whoop definitely does this a little bit better. The Loop will automatically detect workouts, but it won't pick up whether it's a run, cycle or a walk. All workouts detected are classified as other indoor, and that's a bit of a pain in the bum when you go back to look through your data, and you have to manually edit that if you want to change it up, so that's not ideal. The automatic workout tracking is also a bit all over the shop. The sensitivity can be adjusted, but it's set to medium out of the box. And this tracked me kind of sweeping the floor as a workout. So I then ramped it up to the highest intensity, or what you would call the lowest sensitivity levels, to avoid it thinking I was doing a workout walking around my house. But it still wasn't great. To me, it's just far too sensitive, and it will like break up runs into smaller chunks. If you pause for a bit, it will track things that aren't workouts as workouts. So you end up with loads of split sessions. If, like me, you had that link to Strava, it's then popping all of those up onto Strava, thinking I've done like 12 minutes here and 11 minutes there. I would say that is something that really definitely needs work if you're going to make this device the sort of wear and forget kind of background tracker that it's kind of designed to be. And Whoop definitely does that better. Its automatic activity tracking is far, far ahead of the game, or ahead of this one. The lack of built-in GPS might put some runners off as well. So to track runs and get routes, you're going to need to piggyback your phone's GPS. So that means you're going to be carrying your phone. If you want to trigger manual run tracking as well, you'll also need your phone, because there are no buttons to start a workout on the Loop itself. And that would be fine if the automation was on point, but sadly at the moment it's not quite there. And then let's talk about the all-important accuracy. Obviously it's mission critical here. If you've got something that basically is literally like a screenless heart rate tracker that does a bit more, it needs to be good. And in the tests that I did, once the automatic tracking started, the heart rate accuracy for me was actually really reliable for the chunks that it measured. So here's one 10k mixed pace run that I did with some shifts in intensity that the Polar tracks nicely against the Garmin HRM 600 chest strap. But the problem is that half the workout data is missing because it didn't track the whole effort. So that's going to impact things like the training load and recovery insights. And then here's another treadmill interval workout where again it misses the start of that session, does a good job once it kicks in, and then tracks the workout long after I've actually stopped doing the workout. As you can see, because I stopped the Garmin. That extension over the workout is less of a problem for me because it will feed into the kind of load and recovery stats, because it's still tracking what's actually sort of happening with my body. But obviously it skews the workout averages, and it kind of messes with your ability to see the training benefits or the impact of those individual sessions. It might not be so important if this is being used as a general activity tracker, but if you're serious about workouts, then it is. Right now, there's no way to clip that data either, so you can't cut off these sections that aren't relevant. Then when it comes to sleep tracking accuracy, the Loop for me was pretty good at catching my sleep times, though it sometimes needed me to tell it that I was awake in the app. There's a message that pops up that I had to keep to say that I was no longer asleep. But then it did seem to still sort of clock my get up times correctly, or have those recorded in the app correctly. Then on sleep stages, I think, any wearable that tells you it can accurately track sleep stages is definitely overstating its capability. So I'm not going to go into those. But I think for the duration and for that kind of, the sleep consistency, the time to sleep and wake up times, it was pretty solid overall. Verdict then, and if you already own a running watch from Garmin, Coros, Sunto or Polar, the chances are that most of what the Polar Loop offers is already covered by those running watches. They have the features on board more than likely already. So unless you're looking to downgrade to go screen free, or you really want to simplify things, or you really dislike wearing your running watch day to day when you're not running or when you go to sleep, then I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of merit in adding a Loop into the mix. If you're brand new to trackers and you're aiming to run regularly, I would almost certainly also recommend looking at getting yourself a running watch ahead of the Loop. So, for example, if you're okay having a screen and you don't mind having something that's a bit bigger on the wrist, the Polar Pacer will give you far more fitness tracking firepower for an extra £60. That's within Polar stables. And there are lots of watches just outside of Polar that you could look at as well. It will just basically do more for you from a running perspective. If you are 100% convinced that the screenless is the way that you want to go, that kind of background tracking, if that's the design for you, then the Loop does have merit. It's comfortable, it's as good looking as the rivals, it's got a decent battery life, there's a good set of sleep, training and recovery insights, general activity, motivation, that kind of thing. And the one-off payment, sort of no subs approach for me is a massive tick in the box compared to Whoop, which has an ongoing fee, not so keen on. I don't think the Loop is as accomplished or as capable as the Whoop right now, and the automatic tracking woes are a big problem here. That does go away if you're willing to sort of manually start your workouts like you would a watch. But one of the things that I think people like a lot about the Whoop, and one of the reasons you might be buying this, is just because you put it on, it works in the background, and it will track those things without you having to look at a screen or do anything else, and you can refer to your data later. This one struggles with that. So Polar definitely needs to fix that automatic workout tracking. It also definitely needs to come through on its intention to rapidly improve the app and the presentation, making that information easier to absorb, more effective kind of for charting your trends over time. As I said, the automatic workout tracking is one thing it needs to work on as well. If it can do those things, then I think for what this product is and for the price, it will start to look like good value compared to their rivals. So yeah, I mean, that's a challenge to Polar. Get those things right and you've got a product. At the moment, it still needs a bit of work. So there you have it. That's been my look at the Polar Loop. Give us a like if you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. If you're in the market for a running watch, I'm going to pop a video up on the channel now that you should check out. Otherwise, as ever, thank you very much for stopping by. And until next time, happy running, people.